to it. My beads just broke on my pirate outfit. Look at this. Beads flying everywhere. Holy cow. As soon as I talked about taking control of the future, my Venus and Serena beads start flying all over the place. All right. Well, that's what happens when you dress up like a pirate and you don't know what the hell you're doing. Okay, so again, we're attacking the future. We're gonna play the pirate role. The future is that ship with all of that treasure, all that loot on it. You gotta be the pirate. You gotta go get it. What are you gonna do to go get it? What are you gonna do to attack the future and go take what's supposed to be yours? Have you been living in this passive fashion? You see, I'm here today to talk about getting big, thinking big, growing big, raising your game so that you can live a different kind of life. You know, if you already got the kind of life you want, if you're already fully fulfilled, if you're already ecstatic with the way things are going, then you don't need me or this show. The fact is, you know, maybe it's entertaining because you like how I dress, but the fact is you don't need me if you've already accomplished everything you want to accomplish in life. The road to $1 million is about trying to get yourself into better position to live the life of your dreams. And so I thought today in this first segment, I'd talk to you a little bit more about how the term balance, it might be a little overrated too. You see, I hear, you know, since I coach so many people, I get to hear about people who want me to coach them so they can live a more balanced life. And I think immediately that's a mistake. You see, balance is this utopian concept that somebody came up with to try to describe how you ought to be a little bit easier on yourself. You see, balance, again, is overrated. Marlon, you should put that up in the chat box. Balance is overrated. You see, at times, your life needs to be out of balance because there is a season in life in which you need to give up everything to get what you need to get so that you could then shift it into another gear and do a little bit more enjoying of life, but not before a set of dues is paid. You see, too many of us want to achieve balance. You know, I want to relax more. I want to spend more time playing with my family or playing with my kids or going on vacation. Yet those people don't understand that in order to live a life that's got that much leisure in it, that could be that stress-free, they fail to understand that at some point you got to get out of balance so that you can counterbalance. You need to jump out of balance sometimes and devote everything you got to a particular set of accomplishments. And too many people out there don't want to do that. Here's what they want to do. They want to work 6 or 7 hours. They want to go home early. They want to have a great, spectacular vacation whenever they want. They want to play with their kids and coach all the kids' teams. And they want to, they want to relax on the weekends, all without having paid the proper dues. And the proper dues, here it is, get ready, I'm going to piss everybody off. The dues involve getting out of balance at some point and giving everything you got to a thing. There it is. You got to give everything you have to a certain journey, to a certain quest, to a certain goal. My guest is coming on in the second half of the show. He'll tell you about how his dad gave it all up to try to get somewhere. He got somewhere, and then the family got to enjoy the fruits of that labor later on. Later on. You know what? I love that saying that somebody said, I don't know who I'm stealing this from, but he said, somewhere somebody is in a hammock under a huge tree that somebody planted 10 years ago. Think about that. Somebody's swinging on a hammock in the shade under a tree that someone else planted. Maybe they planted, but that someone planted 10 years ago. What's the moral of that little fable, that little story, that little saying? Is that it takes some time and it takes some effort and it takes some energy. Somebody planted that seed. Somebody watered that seed. You know what was there before he planted that seed? Nothing. You know You know what people were thinking when he was watering this spot on the ground that looked like a dirt patch? There was no plant, there was no tree. People were like, why is that dude watering the dirt? Why is he watering this blank piece of dirt? There's nothing there. What's he doing? What is he, crazy? And then other people will come by and say, hey man, why are you wasting your time putting fertilizer and water on that little dirt spot? There's nothing there. That's just a dirt spot. What are you doing? And people keep on walking, you know? And then somebody else will come by and go, dude, what was that guy crazy? And then he'd tell him, look, you know, I'm going to grow this great big oak tree and I'm going to put a hammock under it one day and I'm going to swing in that hammock and I'm going to relax. And people will walk by and be like, man, there that guy is again watering that piece of dirt. And then somebody will come up and say, man, why are you watering that piece of dirt? Why are you putting fertilizer on that piece of dirt? There's nothing there. There's nothing. And then he says, well, because I'm going to grow a great big oak tree. I'm going to grow a great big oak tree and I'm going to hang a hammock in it and I'm going to relax in the shade one day. And then somebody else will come by and say, man, you know oak trees don't grow that big that they can hold a hammock. And you should just quit wasting your time, man, and just do like everybody else does and sit in the sun and burn up. Just be hot like the rest of us. And go, no, I think I'm going to continue to water this tree that I'm growing. And then somebody else will come by and go, man, come on, quit wasting your time. Come to the club with us. Don't be watering that spot on the ground. You're wasting your time, man. And then somebody else will come by and they'll be walking with their friend and be, look at him, man. He's putting water on that spot on the ground. There ain't nothing there but dirt. He's wasting his time. Yeah, man, that dude is wasting his time. What an idiot. What a knucklehead. Now, that guy continued to water and nurture, and at one point, the little baby tree sprouts out of the ground. Whoa, little plant. And then he's over there watering this little twig of a plant. People walk by going, why is he messing around with that little bitty twig coming out of the ground? People walk by, man, why are you wasting your time on that thing? You come watch the game with us. No. I gotta water this plant. I gotta protect this plant. I gotta nurture this plant. And a few years go by, and wow, and there's this medium-sized tree there. And people are going to walk by and be like, well, there's a little bitty tree, but what you going to do with a little bitty tree? What you going to do with that? Man, you can't even make a fire out of that thing with that wood. There ain't enough wood there to do anything. And there the man is continuing to fertilize and water the tree, pull away the weeds, make sure the tree stays strong and healthy and well-fed and gets enough sun, gets enough water, gets enough fertilizer. And then the naysayers are still walking by going, man, there that fool is 2 years later still working on that little bitty tree. What's he going to do with that? What's that tree going to do for him? He's just such an outside thinker. He's crazy. Let's go back and watch the game some more. Well, let's go to the club. Well, let's go get a beer, man. Leave him here. Flash forward 5 more years. And there's a real tree there, a substantial tree. And people are like, man, well, he did grow a tree. But, I mean, what good is a tree going to do you these days? I mean, who needs a tree? And he goes, yeah, man, people with trees ain't happy. People who got trees ain't happy. A tree won't make you happy. Why did he work on a tree all these years? And then flash forward year 10, it's the biggest oak tree in town. My man's got a hammock. He's laying in the hammock. He's swinging. He's relaxing under the largest tree in town. And people are walking by in the 90-degree heat and going, damn. What a nice tree. Man, where'd that tree come from? Man, how'd that guy grow? Hey, man, you know what? That tree looks so beautiful and relaxing. Maybe I ought to get a tree. Maybe I ought to go into the tree game. Maybe, you know what? Hey, man, tomorrow let's get in the tree business. Let's jump in it. Let's get us a tree. Hey, man, how'd you do it with the tree? How'd you get that tree? I need a tree just like that. They'd be like, well, I had to water the tree. I had to plant the seed. I had to water the tree. I had to protect the tree. I had to grow the tree. It took me about 10 years to grow the tree. 10 years? Who got 10 years? Man, I got 10 years. I need a tree tomorrow. I need a full-blown oak tree and a hammock tomorrow. And what they don't understand and don't care about is the fact that it took him 10 years to grow this tree and put this hammock under this tree. This mature, largest tree in town took 10 years to plant, to nurture, to cultivate, to protect, to develop, and then to lay under, to set up his hammock and set up his relaxation mode. 10 years. The parable of the tree. Now, are you the guy who's willing, or girl who's willing to plant the tree, water it, nurture it, fertilize it? Or are you going to be one of the naysayers walking by talking about, man, why are you watering that hole in the ground? Why are you watering that piece of dirt? Why are you watering that little baby tree? Nothing, you can't do anything with a baby tree. Are you one of them? Or are you one of the people that's willing to plant the tree, nurture it, work it, grow it, and then enjoy the fruits of the shade of that tree 10 years from now? Because I'm here to tell you this, tribe. Nothing, and I mean nothing worth having, is instant. Nothing that's long-term, that provides long-term enjoyment, is instant. And too many of us want instant gratification. Too many of us want to look at the successful person and say, hey, I like what you got. Maybe I ought to get in that game. You want to know how offensive that is? You want to know how offensive that is to the accomplished person? You walk up to me, and you might see something that you appreciate about me having sold $4 billion worth of real estate. You know how many people walk up to me, man, and go, hey, man, nice car. You in the real estate business? Ooh, maybe I ought to get in the real estate business. You don't want to know how offensive that is? That's offensive. Oh, man, ooh, Bentley, ooh, man, I need one of those. Maybe I ought to get in that real estate game. And that annoys me to no end. That is so annoying, ladies and gentlemen. Don't walk up to a brain surgeon and say, hey, Mr. Brain Surgeon, I love that house on the hill you live in. I love that Rolls Royce you're driving. Maybe I ought to become a brain surgeon. Does anybody do that? It's the same thing. It took that brain surgeon 12 years of education in regular school, 4 years of med school, 4 years of specialty school, 2 years of internship, and 2 more years of residency to become that surgeon. So you don't just walk up to him and be like, oh, man, cool Rolls Royce. Wait, why don't I become a surgeon? Maybe I'm going to be a surgeon. I'm going to get in the surgery game. Yo, man, yeah, let's get in that surgery game. We want to get one of the Rolls Royces. That's offensive. So don't walk up to a successful person and be like, oh, man, I like what you do. Maybe I ought to try that. Why don't you say, what did it really take? What did it really take? Could you describe for me what it took to become that successful business owner? Hey, could you walk me through the steps of what it would take and how many years it would take me to sell that kind of volume, to have that level of success, to have some of the trappings that you might have enjoyed in your life? Stop with the shortcuts, my people. Let's give it up, because nothing, Marlon, your feed just went away. Stop with the shortcut mentality and get your act together and start thinking about what it really takes. What it really takes a successful person to be successful. So I got on this kick all because I get asked on a daily basis, hey man, wow, what do I need to do to get my license? I kind of like the way that real estate looks. Maybe I should get hooked up. Maybe you should hook me up. Oh, that's the worst one ever. Maybe you should hook me up. Okay, why don't I just hook you up and just let you help me sell the next $4 billion? Is that cool? You want to do that? Why don't I just plug you in, bruh? Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, success leaves clues. It doesn't give handouts. Ooh, man, I need to coin that one. Success leaves clues, but it doesn't give handouts. It'll tell you which direction you might want to go, and it'll tell you what other people have done that you might want to emulate, but it doesn't give you a handout. And so I think too many people want some kind of success handout. So we're going to get this t-shirt made. Nick will design it. Success leaves clues. We'll put that on the front. And on the back, we'll say, but it doesn't give any handouts. Because there's too many people looking for a success handout. You want it for free. You don't want to put in the effort. So back to my balance equation. Balance is ridiculously overrated because anyone who's wildly successful at anything at some point got way out of balance and was willing to go way, way, way over the top and not be sitting around waiting for, some kind of balanced life to feed them, all the great things in life. That's not how it works. That's a little reality check for a lot of people because they don't want to hear that. You want to go off to, the Maldives on vacation for a month, but you can't do it because you haven't paid the price. You haven't given the effort that it takes to get you there. Okay, let's do some case studies. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs worked an average of 21 hours a day. Hello? Anybody home? When was the last time you worked 21 hours? Huh? When was the last time you even worked 11 hours? When was the last time you worked 10? Ladies and gentlemen, that guy achieved at the level he achieved at because he was willing to throw caution to the wind and say, I'm selling out for this thing. He wasn't thinking, okay, let me put in 8 hours and then see how fast I could get to Tahiti. Tahiti would have to come later. You had to get way out of balance. I have a very good friend. Who just recently sold his company. $240 million in his pocket. Now, I sit there and watch people and listen to people go, oh man, how'd you do it? That's $250 million. How'd you sell a company for $240 million? Is the live feedback? Is the tribe back? We lost the Facebook live feed over here for a minute. And so you guys here still see us online, but the Facebook crew, they lost us for a second. They'll be popping back on any minute. They're going to be like sending Marlon evil messages. But I think we're back. There's Angie. Angie's the one who always lets us know we're back. Angie, some kind of snafu happened, and it's Marlon's fault. So aim all the chastising messages at Marlon. I didn't do it. I don't know. Kevin's here too. He might have pulled the plug. You never know. All right, so listen. Back to reality. Here's the deal. It takes a major sacrifice. So we got 2020 coming up. So I'm trying to pull all this back together for you. 2020 is 61 days away. Oh my God, you know why that's so cool? Because studies have shown that it takes 66 days to form a new habit. 66, not 21 like you heard and all that. Empirical studies show that it takes 66 days to form a new habit. You guys hear that? I think everybody in the studio needs to hear that. 66 days to form a new habit. We got 61 days from Halloween to the end of the year. So you could start your new habit forming right now, and by January 5th, that new thing, that positive thing, will be your new habit. And the best thing you can do is form some new habit. You see, having some disciplined life is really kind of overkill. All you really need is a couple of spectacularly good habits. You don't have to live your life like a soldier and never breathe and never have a good time and never eat a bowl of ice cream. All you really got to do is form a couple, maybe even one, incredibly good habit. So now, Marlon and I had a meeting yesterday. Kevin and I are going to have a meeting today. And really what we're going to talk about in both of those things is what is the one thing we're going to do every day for the next 66 days so that thing becomes our habit, that habit that's going to lead us to massive, wild success in our new enterprises or in our current enterprises. Kevin and I got a new enterprise we're starting. Marlon and I got an ongoing enterprise with a couple of new layers to it. The next 66 days, perfect timing because it's Halloween today. November starts tomorrow. November is business planning month. Thanksgiving is business planning weekend. And we're all going to form some new habits to take into the new year. It's going to take us to new heights. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you need some coaching, if you need some help with that, you can reach out to me and I'll give you some tips. But this all falls in perfect order. It takes 66 days to create a habit. So what that really means is by 66 days into the habit, 66 days into the practice, it becomes more awkward for you not to do the thing than to do the thing. You see, that's what a habit is. A habit is something that you do so much that you feel weird not doing it. Now, you see, a lot of people say it takes discipline, it takes this. I'm into habits. I want to get into habits. Get some good habits. That becomes the thing that you naturally do. There are some people who run every day. They just run every day. And it would be a weird day if they didn't get out and run. Okay? That's a habit. So what are your habits, and how can you form some new ones that will actually move the needle in your life into a whole different place and change everything? Think about it. What if you wrote down one thing? All right, so here's the thing. So I coach real estate agents, right? If you happen to be a real estate agent or a salesperson and you need some coaching from 0 to $1 million, talk to me. But listen to this. My challenge to you today on Halloween 2019, why don't you write down one new habit that if you were to perform this habit, if this were to become ingrained in you, you write this down. If you were to do this every day and you could make this your habit, something you just woke up and you knew you were going to do without fail, that would change your life a year from now, 6 months from now. What could that thing be? Think about what that thing can be. So I'll give you an example. For real estate agents, and a lot of you out there are real estate agents, for real estate agents, I say that one thing would be, in my opinion, to talk to 20 prospects every day. That's it. I don't need you to do 800 things. I don't need you to come up with some ingenious marketing plan. I don't need you to do 10,000 pieces of mail a week. I don't need you to run a genius Facebook campaign. No. Talk to 20 principals a day. That's it. That's it. Watch how your life and your business transform if you simply have 20 more conversations a day. So that's what inspired me and Marlon to go into the lead business, because generating leads is what leads real estate agents to the opportunity to talk to more people. And the key, the biggest needle mover for real estate agents is to talk to more people. If you talk to more people, you get more appointments. You get more appointments, you do more escrows. You do more escrows, you close more deals. You close more deals, you make a whole lot more money. Boil it all the way backwards, you need more leads. If you're in the real estate business and you need more leads, we got some new systems that can show you how to get leads. So they're coming your way. My real estate tribe over here, we got some new avenues that are going to get you some more leads, that are going to get you some more appointments, that are going to get you some more face-to-faces, that are going to get you some more opportunities, to get you some more escrows, close some more deals, make some more money. Boom. Daron, your pirate hero. Whole new life coming your way. Think about it. What's the one thing you could do? What's the one thing you can do? Write it down. Don't come up with a list. Forget a bucket list. Let's just get a one thing. Let's just get a single thing that could change it all. What one thing in 2020 could change it all for you? You know, a lot of people commit to losing 50 pounds in the new year. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. And then when they go through, they go hit the gym real hard one day. They haven't been to the gym in 6 months. They go hit the gym real hard one day because they're going to lose 50 pounds. They got this big goal, this big ambition, 50 pounds. Woo! They go hit the gym real hard. They just go for 2 hours on January the 2nd, 2 hours in the gym. Damn. They wake up the next morning, they could barely get out of bed because they're sore as hell. Oh, wow. And then they go get on the scale, and the scale doesn't move. They still got 50 pounds to lose. You know what happens then? Their ambition goes away because the pain is greater than the gain. They want to avoid the pain more than they want to go through the effort again because it's too painful for them. You understand? And so what is a better thing to do, in my opinion? Make it a goal to just lose one. What? What are you talking about, Daron? What am I going to do if I'm losing 1 pound? What does that do? What if you lose just 1 pound and do it again tomorrow? And do it again tomorrow. Forget the 50. Forget the 100. Just lose one. Do something differently that will enable you to maybe lose a pound. Is it run a lap? Is it walk 2 miles? Is it put that fork down after the first serving? Is it squeeze your portions down, make the protein the size of your fist? That's your chicken breast is only that big. Put more vegetables as the larger part of the meal. There's a million things you can do. There's no one road to success. That's the beautiful part. Everybody wants to know, what's the secret? What's the secret? The secret is there's no secret. The secret is there's no one secret. But what if you just lost 1 pound a day and you tried to do it every day? And then before you know it, there's 365 days in the year that's coming up. You don't think you could get to 30, 40, 50 pounds if you just continued the effort to just lose one? Think about it like that. So in your real estate career, in your sales career, I got one objective for you. Talk to more people than you did. And so I pick a number. There's no science behind calling 20 people. Matter of fact, I just heard a philosophy and I shared it with one of my students. I said, try this out. And I think it might work as far as, feeling like you need to do a number of things. Call 10 people, email 10 people, and text 10 people. That's it. Call 10, email 10, text 10. There you go. Your assignment is over. For me, I heard this from a guy a couple of days ago, and that's what he's done. Just year over year over year over year, and he averages about 35 transactions a year. What would your bank account look like if you had 35 transactions in a year? Question? Oh man, I'm telling you, most real estate agents only do 6 transactions a year. 6. It's probably less than that here in California. But the fact is, if you did 7 or 10 extra transactions, what would your bank account look like? So how about that? Why don't you try some baby steps? If you're a cold caller, or if you're not afraid of cold calling, call 20 people a day. If you want to be a little bit more diverse with your marketing, call 10, text 10, email 10. Boom. There you go. That's a full-blown marketing plan right there. Right there. Everybody wants some 30-page marketing plan. People sign up for my coaching, and they go, man, you're expensive. Where's my 50-page plan? I go, ain't no 50-page plan. I can write this plan in 3 sentences. Call 10, email 10, text 10. Session over. Give me 20,000. I love it. It's brilliant. It's funny how simplicity can be brilliant. But listen, I don't know. I digress. I joke. But the fact is, if more of my coaching comes down to accountability than it does some brilliant idea or some shiny new object. It really comes down more to accountability and making people do the things we've agreed to do. And usually it's baby steps. We eat our elephants how? One bite at a time. One bite at a time. So I like my elephants in small chunks, forkfuls, right? How are you going to eat that elephant? How are you going to eat your elephant? If your elephant is, I need to make $500,000 in 2020, how are you going to eat that elephant? Just by doing something a little better than you used to, one step at a time. Let's talk to 20 people. Let's communicate with more people. That's really the whole sales game. Most people, when they get in front of the prospect, are pretty good. Most people just don't get in front of enough prospects. Am I right or am I right? My job as a coach is to do 2 things. 1, show you some ways to get in front of a few more prospects. And 2, help you close those prospects for more business. You get in front of more people and then show you what to say to get more of those people to agree to what you say or what you're offering or what you're selling. Get in front of more people. Let's get you some more conversations. And then we can get you to the next level. Get in front of more people, have more conversations, good things happen. Isn't that amazing? All right, wow, that first hour flew by. I'm Daron Campbell, your favorite pirate, your real estate mentor, your Road to a Million show leader, mentor, accountability partner. Hello, accountability partners. We are going to take a break. We're going to come back with my partner, my homie, my dog, my road dog, Kevin Johnson. He's going to join me on the show. We're going to talk about, empire building. We're going to talk about thinking big. We're going to talk about how, in his experience, he's been part of a very successful family. We're going to talk about all that. I'll get into all that. But we're going to come back in about 3-4 minutes, less, something like that. And we're going to talk to Kevin Johnson, and we're going to continue down the road. I'm Daron Campbell. I'm your real estate mentor. This is roadtoamillionshow.com. We're all going to the top together. We'll be back in 3. are. Oh, there we are.
We're on.
Oh, we're back. We're back. We're back on the road to $1,000,000show.com. I'm Daron C. Campbell, the hardest working man in real estate, your real estate mentor, your guru, your accountability partner. And guess what? I'm here with my road dog, my homie, KJ, Kevin Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, say good morning, Kevin.
How are you today? Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. Kevin is dressed as Kevin.
Yes.
All right. So I'm your favorite pirate with all kind of costume malfunctions going on, but don't trip off of that because we're dropping a little wisdom on you today. And I bring Kevin on. Kevin and I are together all the time. Oh, I see him every day. And what's the top of mind for us is growth, empire building, getting better, getting stronger, getting richer. And Kevin's got a legacy, a family legacy even, of being able to build empires. And so I brought Kevin on today because it's a good day to start inspiring you with stuff, with ideas, with concepts that'll help you start your 2020 the right way. And it's Halloween. We got 61 days left in the year, and it's time for you to get yourself ready for 2020. So what have we been saying lately? You better stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Okay? So Kevin is here to talk to us a little bit about how you and your family have grown an empire in the past. Why don't you give us a little background on how you got here?
Well, I'm from Indianapolis originally, a second generation construction real estate business. My dad had a construction business, and I joined the company when I was 19. And
wait! Don't gloss over that. Your dad was in the construction business. Yes. All right, and I met Pops. Pops was old school,
yes,
OG. I say the word hustler, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Pops was a businessman hustler, right?
Yes.
So what did he do? How did he get his start?
It was real simple. He said, you work hard and you believe in yourself, and just like my T-shirt says, you just do it. And he moved by himself because most people didn't think the same way he did, like Daron was saying earlier. Weren't willing to do what was needed to be done to be successful. And he showed himself and hard work and self-discipline. And he used to tell me, you can do anything that any other white man can do as a black man in America. You just have to believe in yourself, understand what it is you have to do.
That's interesting because so what he's saying is Pops was an entrepreneur, and that made him the minority of the minorities because a lot of people didn't think I can own this market, I can own this store, I can own this apartment building. While Rich, his name was Rich thought I need to be the owner of that damn thing. Is that right?
Yes, because he said that working with somebody and you work 24 hours a day, there's only so much money that you can make in a day. But if you work for yourself, there's no limit to how much money you can make per hour. Because he always said, no one can pay me what I think I'm worth.
See, nobody can pay him in an hour what he thinks he's truly worth in that very same hour. That's big. That's big. Something to think about, people. So Kevin's a living legacy. His dad decided, I'm not going to work for somebody. I'm going to go and work for myself. And he built a serious empire, you guys. When I met them, when I met the Johnson family, they were thinking of moving to California from Indianapolis. And they owned all kinds of property and whatnot in Indianapolis. And they sat down with me and talked about moving the empire out west. And Kevin and I struck a fast friendship and have been partners ever since. Now let's talk about you. So what was your role? You said you mentioned you started at 19.
Yeah, I started, and he brought me in as his partner. And we did much construction for the federal government. And I did all the estimating, and at 19 he threw me in running so I cut my teeth on business at 19, and we did for paid work for other people, but I've never had a job my entire life, and I guess that's good and bad. But we work without a net, so we would
work without a net.
Yes.
Do you hear that? Work without a safety net.
Yes.
Meaning, if we don't kill, we don't eat.
Exactly.
I love that.
We would sign contracts with the federal government that have a performance contract that would say 100% performance contract. So if you don't finish your job, we're going to come take everything that you've ever made your entire life to finish this contract. So
You're guaranteeing it, in other words.
So every time we sign a contract, you said, "You ready to go out of business?" I said, "Yes, sir." So
how about that?
Personal integrity, you're putting your balls on the line, literally and figuratively, every time we did a job.
So okay, so you guys were in the construction business. So
Yes.
to earn money so that you could invest, you guys were contractors in the construction business, and you'd go after government style contracts.
Yeah, we were in an 8A program.
What's that?
Federal 8A program where they would set aside contracts for minority contractors to individually talk to construction managers for the government, and you would actually try to negotiate a price with the specific contracting officer from the specific agency. So you put all your numbers together, they put other numbers together, and then you would sit down and try to reconcile them between the two of you. And if you agreed, you can sign a contract and then you go to work.
Now that's important because a lot of people don't realize that government agencies and even private agencies many times have a designated amount of business that they need to do, have to do, or want to do with a minority contractor. And I've seen this happen in real estate brokerage. I've seen this happen in construction. I've seen this happen in, check this out, I've seen this happen in the auto industry. So I'll give you a quick story. I went to college with a very good friend of mine, and her dad was a major auto dealer. Major. I'm talking like 20 dealerships. And they were worth millions upon millions of dollars. But you know how they got their start? Ford Motor Company decided back in the 70s that they needed some minority dealerships. Yep. Now listen to me. Now this is important. Kevin knows this firsthand. Ford said, "You know what? We got to sell cars in the minority neighborhoods just like we got to sell them everywhere else. So what we need to do is we need to help some ambitious, entrepreneurial, not afraid minorities to own Ford franchises." So what they did was they created the minority franchise ownership program that said, now you couldn't be just some knucklehead off the street. They said somebody who's willing to put together $100,000 can go through the Ford franchisee development program, and we will subsidize a Ford dealership for you if you can make it through the program. Now what did that mean? You couldn't be Joe Schmo off the street, never cracked a book in your life, never put any effort into anything, never had a dollar. But if you could go out and round up, figure out, work your way to, save up the entry fee, the $100,000, a dealership at the time was worth about $500,000. They said if you came up with the first 100, and they didn't care if you borrowed it, they didn't care if you, I won't say stole it, but they didn't care how you got it. If you got it and you had it to invest and you were willing to go through their training program to learn how to run a Ford dealership, you could have your own Ford dealership. You know who else did this? McDonald's.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
McDonald's decided we're growing faster than any restaurant in the country, but we need them in minority areas just like we need them everywhere else. So guess what McDonald's did? They carved out a niche and said, hey, people of color, you want to own a McDonald's franchise? Here are the requirements. And you couldn't be a knucklehead who never got an education, who never thought about entrepreneurship, who never could put together two nickels, who could never save enough money to have a little bit of a down payment. It would go to the people who had the discipline to do those things. But there it was, this niche. And what did that result in? Hundreds and hundreds of minority McDonald's owners. Hundreds and hundreds of, maybe not hundreds, but dozens and dozens of Ford dealership owners. All who became millionaires on average, okay? So there are opportunities out there. There are people out there screaming about they don't get a chance, they don't get a crack. But you gotta do what my mother used to always say. Success happens at that point in the road where preparation and opportunity meet.
Exactly.
And so, okay, so tell us.
And you got to understand the game, whatever it is, and my dad happened to be, I mention him constantly because we were best friends, brothers, business partners, and father-son for 29 years. We saw each other every day, and he blessed me with insight to the real world, and it's invaluable. It's worth all the money in the world. And he said basically that you got to understand, follow the money. It tells you the deal every single time, and there's nothing new under the sun. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just follow the wheel and make your own wheel roll like the other wheels roll.
You know, his pops had more sayings than my grandma, and that's a whole lot. And but Rich was always dropping some wisdom on us, telling Kev, and then eventually me and Kev, all these little sound bites that were little pearls of wisdom that really meant something in real life. And the fact is that the moral of the story is there's opportunity out there, no matter who you are, no matter what color you are, no matter what deck you think is stacked against you, you got an opportunity. And the more you prepare yourself, the more the opportunities seem to come out of nowhere. It's kind of like Kevin and I always say this to each other. Hey, the harder we work, the luckier we get.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And so success happens at that point in the road where preparation, here's the part most people don't want to hear, preparation and opportunity meet. If you're not prepared, when the opportunity shows up, you don't even know it's an opportunity half the time.
You understand the money, how the money rolls,
Exactly.
and everything.
Exactly.
That's the opportunity.
Well, exactly. And see, the thing is, if you've properly prepared yourself, then when an opportunity shows up on your doorstep, you'll recognize it as an opportunity. But you know why there's so many people just drifting out there in this world? Because they're not prepared for anything. What are you preparing yourself for? So, Kev, when you were 19, you started with the family business. You and Pops were partners. What did you want the future to look like?
I wanted us to get out of the construction work and get into developing our own properties, buying real estate, and I was able to secure a very large construction contract for us on a major rehab in Indianapolis, and we made a substantial amount of money from that, and that money we took and invested in downtown Indianapolis real estate.
And tell us what kind of, so you took you found some opportunities to earn some money.
Big chunk of money.
You worked your butt off to earn that money, and then you took that money and you found an opportunity to invest it strategically. So tell us specifically, what kind of stuff did you guys buy?
Downtown Indianapolis had still not started to come back yet, and there were a number of multifamily, residential, and mixed-use commercial properties in the downtown area, a mile from the center of town. And I've been looking at stuff. I told Dad, we need to buy this. We'd always owned rental properties, 5 or 10 units, historically for the last 20 or 30 years, but I wanted us to move forward more aggressively and get bigger. He said, okay. So I was able to negotiate a couple of purchases through the HUD foreclosures, and we did some gut rehabs and bought a couple more buildings from some foreclosures downtown, and looked back, and we owned about 3 square blocks of downtown Indianapolis.
Wow.
That we developed as apartments, condos. All these buildings were 75 to 100 years old, and we carved out our little niche. Everyone in town was wondering who were the white people behind them. And we did
couldn't just be you guys, right?
Who's loaning the money? We were very fortunate to do everything we did with cash.
Wow.
So
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we're very conservative in our living style, and Indianapolis wasn't like Los Angeles. A little with money goes a long way. My father was very under the radar, did everything he wanted to, had a decent car, nice house, but didn't throw his money away. And we were conservative businessmen, black businessmen.
How about that? And so people were probably like surprised because you guys were intelligent with your dollars, and you weren't out there blowing cash on stuff.
Nope.
You know, and I think that's something we all ought to like have as an objective. Why don't we invest more and buy less stuff? Invest in more assets and buy less stuff. And you know, I think a lot of people expect that we squander our cash, expect that we don't know how to invest, expect that we don't want to own, expect that we rather be employees. That's me, Marlon. Expect that we don't want to be employees that we want to be employees, that we don't want to own the enterprise. We just want to rent. We don't want to own the business. We just want to get a job and get a check on Friday. And you guys bucked that system.
Well, one of my dad's, another one of his favorite quotes was, Kevin, a lot of people made a lot more money than me, but not many people did as much of what they made as what I did, what he did.
And hey, that's some wisdom to live by, because Pops was, he knew how to have a good time too. Now, don't get me wrong. Pops knew how to have a good time and took real good care. You guys took real good care of the family.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And so you didn't suffer for much.
Nothing.
But now let's talk about this, because this goes back to the first segment of the show. A lot of people take kind of taking the lazy man's way out, and they believe that they ought to be enjoying life as much as they ought to be working before they've earned their stripes. Now, do you agree with me that there is a season during which you are going to be out of balance and you're going to have to work a whole lot more than you play?
Another one of his favorite quotes was, you can only serve one mistress.
So, mistress, that's a bad word on my show, but that's a whole different story. So tell us what that means.
What that means is you don't have one thing as your number one priority, like you were talking about earlier. You have to buy into something as consistently long term, and for him it was work hard and be consistent and grind your way.
And wasn't there? Tell me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there a period of time when you and Pops just had to get your grind on, and it was 18, 20 hours, whatever you had to do?
Well, yeah, all my life, we were self-employed, so.
So you worked till the work's done.
No, I ran the crews. I worked myself. I put all the numbers together. We were the first ones in, last ones out, and for years and years and years. And at the end of the day, it paid off because there was a routine.
Yep.
And we believed in ourselves. We knew what we had to do. We knew we couldn't depend on anyone else but ourselves. And so we didn't depend on anyone but ourselves. And anyone that's in business will be able to tell you that you make more money, you max your money when you're there on top of your people.
Watching your people.
And you have to be there. You can't let the business run itself. You got to run your business, and you got to make sacrifices.
And you see, truly passive income is usually not passive. It's, you can put yourself in a position where you are less hands-on. But every great entrepreneur I know, including Kev and his pops, when they moved to California, you think, hey, they own all these apartment buildings. I helped them buy a bunch of new apartment buildings. I helped them buy an office building. And you would think that means, all they did was sit back and eat bonbons and let everybody else make all the money. That would be the opposite of the truth. The opposite is they watched every dollar. Yes. The opposite is they watched every construction team. The fact of the matter is they kept their eye on every part of the empire. While they might not have been out there hammering the nails, they knew where every nail went. They knew what every nail cost. You see, truly passive income is not as passive as you might think. It gives you the ability to breathe a little and relax a little, but you always got to stay vigilant, right?
Yeah. And he say, I can count my money better than anybody else can count my money. The only count that matters in money is the first count. That's right. In business.
That's right.
You don't trust someone else to, this is how much you're going to make. No.
What did he always say about trusting and reserving the right?
I trust you, but I reserve the right to verify.
Exactly. I love that one. I trust you, but I reserve the right to verify. So
and we have to own due diligence, and they always just say you got to take personal responsibility for everything. No one ever did anything to you but what you allowed them to do.
Bingo. See, that's big.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's big.
Can't blame anybody for anything.
So, whatever situation you're in, whatever bed you sleep in, you made that bed. You whatever table you're sitting at, you set that table. And it's useless to blame anyone else, even including culture and society. None of that's an excuse, right?
Yes.
I'm sure back in the...
He used to say also, all actions have repercussions and consequences.
That's right. Good, bad, or indifferent. There's repercussions.
If you stay up all night and you slow next morning, you knew that last night.
You should have known.
You got to get up and handle your business.
That's right. That's right. There's no excuses, in other words.
No excuses.
No excuses. So, as you build for your 2020, as you build for next year, you got to think about that. Am I taking full responsibility of my life and these goals that I want to have? The question I always ask people is, who are you waiting on to deliver your dream to you? I got a secret. Ain't nobody coming.
Exactly. You hit it right on the head. And you're the master or the mistress of your own dreams, and you got to make them happen. And there's no excuse for, because that. You gotta think through all the objections and get past it.
There you go. You have to be, he said, the master or the mistress of your own fate. There he is with that mistress word again. Makes me nervous. I don't know.
Mistress.
Okay, whatever it is. You're in charge of you.
Yes.
And you can't blame anybody else about your situation. Matter of fact, it's the biggest waste of time you could ever have, is blaming someone else for your lot in life or your scenario,
It takes valuable positive energy into negativity.
Exactly. I mean, I can't blame anybody for how crazy my scarf looks.
Yeah.
I tied it myself.
Okay, don't be telling people about it now.
Oh my goodness. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are having a blast here because we're talking to my main man, Kevin Johnson. He's my business partner. We do everything together, my running buddy. And we're talking about empire building. We're talking about the future. We're talking about 2020. We're talking about how you are going to make 2020 the best year yet. And I'm bringing on some shining examples of people who have built some empires and people who can help you preserve, people who can help you invest, people who can help you borrow and protect, all those things. 2020 is going to be a great year for us on Road to a Million Show. I'm just trying to bring my whole army of cohorts in to try to help you grow a little bit. And Kev is one of the main people in that because he and I run like this. We're out there trying to conquer worlds together. And so anyway, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with more Kevin Johnson. This is the Road to a Million Show at roadtoamillionshow.com. I'm Daron C. Campbell. I am your real estate mentor. We'll be back in 3 minutes. And we are back on the Road to a Million show. RoadToAMillionShow.com is where we live. I'm Daron C. Campbell, your real estate mentor. We're on this journey on the road to a million. We're all trying to get to the top together. And so the way I figure we do that is I bring on the army of everybody I know that's ever helped me learn a little bit about getting better, a little bit about getting smarter. You know what we focus on this show, getting better with your brain, your body, and your bank account. And so if we can bring a little bit of wisdom to you each day in those three departments, then maybe I'm doing my job. I'm sitting here today with my main dude, Kevin. He's my dog. We travel, we hang out, we get into trouble together, and but he happens to be my buddy and a mentor at the same time, which is very fortunate if you get the opportunity to have a friend who could be a mentor and a partner and somebody you could just hang with and tell all your problems to, and they don't judge you. That's him. This is Kevin Johnson. Welcome, man.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.
Kev has been dropping a little wisdom on us today, telling us how he and his family, the Johnson family, built their empire. You know, his dad was a visionary. I mean, back in the 60s and 70s, to be a black man in the Midwest with some ambition, you wanted to own something, you wanted to be an owner, you wanted to be an employer, you had to have some huge balls to be able to be willing to do that. Two, you had to be very resourceful because people weren't walking around handing out loans to black men in the 70s in the Midwest. And he's saying, here, go start your business, young man. He had to figure out how to make some stuff happen. And so he had to have a certain amount of grit.
A lot. That was it.
Right? And he also had to be willing to work for whatever he wanted to have. He had to be willing to work for it. And I think a lot of us, might lack a little bit of what's the word? I don't know. There's a lot of people want the brass ring before they pay the dues. And I'm an advocate of trying to figure out, how can we educate people about the fact that the good life comes after the sacrifice.
Well, when I used to coach youth track, we used to tell the kids, you pay now, you play later.
Well, there you go.
You play now, you pay later. And my experience with my dad growing up was he was always working, always working. He had a filling station for a couple filling stations for a couple of years. He said, Kev, I made good money, but I didn't take a day off in 2 years.
Wow.
And you got to mind your money.
Wow. Now think about that, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you haven't taken a day off in 2 years? Hey, I heard an interesting story about what's the swimmer's name?
Mark Spence?
Nope. The one that just beat him and everything. Phelps. Michael Phelps, right? Michael Phelps, part of his during his quest from a teenager, from a kid until he set the record in Olympic gold medals, was that he swam 6 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And he had asthma.
And that's right. Yeah. But now listen to this. 7 days a week he swam. And you know what he figured? Here's what his calculation was. All of my competition is training 5 to 6 days a week. If I train 7 days a week, that gives me at least a 52-week advantage because a 52 training session advantage over all my competition, because he thought to himself, nobody's swimming 7 days a week. If I swim 7, even those guys that swim 6 days a week, I'm going to have 52 more training sessions than them. I'm going to be 52 days better than each of them. And so the point is, he got himself into what we talk about in the first half of the show, an incredible habit. His habit, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm in the pool by 4:30, and not until 6 hours later do I begin with whatever else is going on in my day. Now, you want to talk about dog determination? That's what it is. And you said your pops, same thing. Look, you want to bring it down to the real level, our level, not the gold medal swimmer level? His pops owned 2 filling stations. That's what they called them back then. Those are gas stations for those of you who don't know. Owned 2 gas stations. He worked them every day, didn't take a day off for 2 years. Now, that goes to my earlier point. There will be a period of time in your life, if you want to succeed, when you will be out of balance. And I am of the opinion that balance is overrated. Because here's what Kevin and I plan. We're out of balance right now. We work. But then we're gonna be out of balance in a different way in a few years. We're gonna chill, and we'll be broadcasting this show from Tahiti somewhere. But right now, it's all about work. It's all about getting to where we want to go. It's all about accomplishing those goals. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You got to give it all up sometimes. You got to sell out for that dream. So now, Kevin.
Another quote.
What?
The world is full of talent unfulfilled.
Oh, man.
Because, as we know, you can be the bright, but if you got to put effort in, and my dad always said this, if you got a decent mind and good work ethic, you can do anything you want to do. And that's really getting things to the bottom. Keep it simple.
You know, that reminds me of another quote that I heard that said, work ethic trumps talent every time.
100 out of 100.
100 times out of 100. You know how many smart people are running around out there with no money? How many broke, smart people there are? Because they didn't have the work ethic. You know, sometimes being gifted, if you believe in gifted, or being, having special skills can actually be a handicap.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Right? Because some people,
you don't have at least the bad work habits.
That's right. And
I'm testifying.
There you go. Think about it, people. Some people that seem to be like something's coming more easily to them, unfortunately, sometimes that thing that comes easy to them, they fail to work at it to further develop that talent. And if you don't put work ethic behind it, it's a dead end deal. It's a dead end deal. And then you'll see somebody who wasn't as gifted as you, who's putting in the work, and suddenly you wake up one day and you be like that saying I always say, you'll be like, what happened? They flew right by you and they succeeded at the highest level and you didn't put the work in, and guess what? You are where you are.
Yeah, there's no substitute for hard work.
There's no substitute for hard work, no matter what.
Kobe was one of the very best, but then he drove himself the very hardest. Michael Jordan was one of the very best, but they didn't want the very best accidentally.
No, not accidentally. There are no accidents. Do you find it ironic that everyone you ever talked to in the world of basketball that knew these guys would agree that Michael Jordan was the hardest worker on that team? First to arrive, last to leave. Let me give you another one. Kobe Bryant, you just mentioned. First to arrive, last to leave. Hardest worker on the team. And some people will say, oh, he was such a natural talent. He's the most talented. No, hardest worker. Hey, I just read another article. Some guy was agreeing with 20 other football players. Jerry Rice, best football player that ever lived. And what was he? The hardest worker on the team.
You know, we're from Indianapolis in Chicago area. One of our favorite players of all time, Walter Payton.
Walter Payton.
He used to run the levees down in Louisiana, and people would throw up. Professional athletes would try to.
That's right.
They would throw up. They couldn't do it.
He's my favorite player of all time, Walter Payton.
Too.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago. You from the Midwest as well, obviously. And so in the offseason, I remember them documenting Walter Payton's off-season workout. So while so many players were off in Hawaii chilling and getting fat, Walter Payton was running these crazy hills, the levees, right?
Yep.
The levees down south, and getting himself into supreme shape. So the best player on the team was also the hardest worker on the team. Coincidence, you think? Not. There are plenty of talented people that get nowhere, and plenty of people with the size or the acumen or the makeup to be great, but they don't exploit the opportunity by packaging it with hard work. So now, Kev, you jumped into the business. Pops got older. You guys moved the portfolio to out west to California. You met this really handsome, brilliant real estate agent who helped you trade those properties into California properties.
I did?
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what they say.
Vicious rumors. I tell you.
And so what's the plan? What do you got for the future? What are you telling people they should be looking at and doing?
Well, decide on what you want to do, and then do your background. There's no substitute for doing your homework, and you got to do your homework. And whatever success you want to have, you got to figure out what it takes to get there.
But you got to
And-
pick something,
Yeah,
right?
you got to pick something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't. I mean, they plan to fail because they failed to plan, right?
Well, like you said, losing 50 pounds, you lose or trying to
Lose 50 pounds, you got to start with the first.
or getting some sort of certification. If you want to be a broker or going to school, it's a day at a time.
Yeah.
And you just got to have a plan, and you got to work it.
And the thing is, there's no one single way.
No.
There's no one single profession. There's no one. Look, I will never be Kobe Bryant. I will never be Kobe Bryant. But I have chosen my lane, and so my quest should forever be to become the best there is in my lane, right?
And people should always do what they like.
Oh, because that's where passion lives, right?
Yeah, because you're going to do something for the rest of your life for years and years. So maybe as well be something that you enjoy.
Do something you like, and the money will
come.
follow. Hello.
And my dad always said, as long as you're good, it doesn't matter what you do. As long as you're good at what you do, you will be able to make a living.
There you
Because
go.
most people aren't good at what they do.
Right. Most people choose a profession because they like what the profession represents, or they like what other people in the profession have. Goes back to my real estate story. All these people showing up going, hey, whoa, cool. I like what you drive. Maybe I ought to get in the real estate business. And what I really want to say to all of them is like, hey, asshole, come get in that little closet where I used to cold call for 9 hours a day. Join me there 20 years ago, and let's see if you want to be in this real estate game. Right?
It's funny because I worked construction business during the day, and people would see me out at night and swore that I didn't work. They
didn't know you had worked all day.
All day, 10, 12 hours, and with tools actually.
Yeah, you were physically working the construction
I was
game.
working the crews and working with them, running the crews, and I worked all day, every day, and I just smiled.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I just smiled because.
And that's what I say. You know, a lot of people like go to successful people or wildly talented plus successful people, and they'll go, ooh, hey, I like that. Maybe I ought to do that. And it's really disrespectful to the person that has achieved a lot because they didn't get there overnight. I guarantee you, most of us are in the sales game. I train salespeople. I train real estate people. And the people at the highest level of the food chain, the highest rung on the ladder, not one of them got there overnight. Not one. You know who these people tend to be? The hardest workers in their company.
There's no substitute for work ethic.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing how consistent it is? And there's really no exceptions.
None.
I haven't met an exception to the rule yet.
Well, you win the lottery, but that's not work. That's just pure luck.
Well, what percentage of lottery winners end up broke? A very high percentage,
Most
right?
of them.
So it's because they didn't work for that money. They don't value it. If you don't work for something, you tend to not value it. And so I read some crazy statistic, like 65, 70% of lottery winners die broke. Is that crazy?
Well, they're not used to having any money, handling money.
Yep.
So if you're younger and you've been around large sums of money, then the large sums of money don't mean anything to you. But the means is, how can I spend
You don't
it?
lose
No.
your mind.
No, my dad always said, it takes money to make money. Cash is king. You got to have cash to be able to take advantage of the opportunities.
There you go. So maybe we ought to.
With credit, which is the same thing as handling your business on a day-to-day basis.
Same thing.
So that you're credit worthy.
The better you handle your money, the better you handle your cash, the better your credit will become.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So there's opportunities out there, but it begins with you getting your discipline right, becoming disciplined with your money, so that you can obtain credit. The richest people I know got more credit than anybody I know as well. It's kind of like the rich get richer. It's almost unfair, but those are the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the facts. That's how it works. Okay, we got a question from one of our favorites, Angie.
Hi, Angie.
She says, being a beginner investor and agent, what is the best way of creating your own construction team? But dang, Angie ain't messing around. She's a beginner investor and agent, and she wants to create her own construction team. I think she might really mean assembling and having your own squad, right?
I think that's a pretty easy question. the answer. You need to find one all-around handyman
Ooh, that's
that can
good.
do everything.
Ooh, that's good.
And he's going to be the nucleus that you build everything around, because one person can do most everything. Yeah, yeah.
All right, I like that because I tend to agree because, and a lot of times, Angie, that'll come through the interactions you'll have while doing deals. Like I meet people as a result of being a real estate agent, as a result of doing deals. The person that introduced me to Kevin and his family only brought them to me because I was really good at what I did, and that happened to be what they wanted to buy. So I was very prolific and proficient in selling apartment buildings. And here's a family that loved to invest in apartment buildings, and another real estate agent brought them to me because that was my specialty. That was what I was an expert in. And so I think as you become an expert and as you become good, other people find you, and then that's where you start to collect great people. I believe in just collecting great people. And at the end of the day, then you won't have to do everything by yourself. You just call somebody who's great at something. So I don't invest in an apartment building without calling one of my favorite apartment investors, Kevin. He's got 40 plus years of apartment investing. We go look at an opportunity to renovate, rehab. I bring Kevin. Why? He's renovated and rehabbed 100 pieces of property in his career. Same thing. So Angie, that's kind of the overriding answer to your question.
Well, I would say,
collect really good people at what they do, and you'll get introduced to them as you go.
And pay attention. You got to understand what it is you're looking for.
Right.
Too.
Well, know what you're looking for.
See,
that's true.
And then also be aware of talent. That because one of my most simple little scenarios is you draw a big circle, and everybody throws their hat in the ring, which are their talents, and you connect the dots. Everybody you come in contact with, you throw into the circle. And then as your needs come, oh, I need this. Okay, that's that person. That's that person. That's that person. Connect the dots. But getting back to your basic, you really need to find, and you can go not steal somebody from another contractor, but yeah, guys want to work on their own hustle, and you pay attention to who's doing all the work on a job. You just be nosy. You can stop by, we ride down the street, and look at a job and say, who runs the crew here, blah, 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 and and try to get a phone number. But you also got to know somebody when they're talented. Give them an hour or two on the job. You don't really know what you're doing, so you got to cut your losses too.
Well, that's true. The other thing though is he touched on a really good point because you'll sell houses, Angie, and you'll see somebody using a handyman or a construction team. I was just on an inspection on a house that's worth a few $1 million, and the construction team was there renovating the house. Well, in my conversation with the construction team, and they were doing very, very high quality work, I got to say, as I'm chatting with the construction guys, they were like, well, yeah, we'll be done with this job in a month. You know of any other opportunities for us? Ding, 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 ding. Opportunity. Here's the construction team. They're really good at what they do. They happen to be currently occupied, but guess what? They don't have their next job lined up. Guess what that says to me? These guys are going to be available. They will otherwise probably not be working, which gives me maybe an opportunity to hire them at a really good rate. So, again, in your travels, always make it a point to collect great people. And before you know it, you'll have a Rolodex database, if you're using today's terms.
Rolodex.
Yeah, Rolodex. People don't even know what a Rolodex is these days.
Young kids say, what's that?
Marlon don't know what a Rolodex looks like. Marlon saw a Rolodex on his grandpa's desk
that
20 years ago.
That had all the good numbers.
Rolodex was
had all the good numbers.
Yeah, that was man. You protect your Rolodex with everything you got. I shoot a dude for taking my Rolodex. See, don't jack me for my Rolodex. You can have my Rolex, right, but don't take my Rolodex.
Yeah, you get more for watches. You lose a good number.
That's a good one, Marley. You got to publish that one. You can have my Rolex, but don't mess with my Rolodex.
And this is what you talk about, Angie. My dad always said that you take care of the people that work for you because your employees make you money.
Yep.
You make them money, they will make you money because we can't do it all ourselves. We need to have competent people in place, and you have to pay your people when you say you're going to pay them because that will engender a tremendous amount of favor with you, and people will come. Guys would come, leave other jobs, come work for us, because they knew that we were going to pay them when we said we were going to pay them.
You were fair, and you paid them right, and you paid them on time.
On time, pay them on time, and be a man, be a person of your word. In any business, that goes so far.
Let's see, that's big. That's big, people. These are pearls of wisdom spoken by a man who's been there, done that. So you pay close heed, pay close attention. You got to be a collector of great people, and then before you know it, you see opportunities, and you got somebody to talk to, you got somebody to go to. See, look, as much as everybody wants to play Lone Ranger, the world don't work on Lone Rangers. This is a people world, and people make the world go around. And if you're in the business of collecting quality people, you can get anything done you want.
That brings back another thing. My dad always used to say, Kevin, you need a partner. You can't do this out here all by yourself. It was he and myself for a long time. And he said, I'm getting old, and you need a partner. And then, lo and behold, I met Daron. First meeting we had with him, I said, I'm going to be your partner one of these days. And I never met him before in my life. I'm so impressed with how he handled his business. And I saw the opportunity that two heads are better than one. The saying of two like minds can conquer the world.
Even if his head is way bigger than mine.
You know why? Because I got a lot more brains, right? You can't have a lot of brains in a little head.
Good point. Yes, he did. I can testify to the fact that the first day we met, we had a big meeting with the family, talk about moving the whole family to California from Indianapolis. We had the meeting. I talked, he talked, Pops talked, Moms talked, everybody talked. When the meeting was over, he's like, I'm going to be your partner one day. And lo and behold, it didn't take long. We found so many different opportunities to work on stuff together, partner on stuff together, invest in stuff together, wheel and deal, start businesses together. And here we are. How many years later? 14?
Going on 16.
Woo! Man, time flies. 16 years.
It was 16 years, the end of August.
We just passed our 16-year working together anniversary. How about that? And look, again, it goes to the point we just made. Collect great people and hang on. And they'll help you get everywhere you want to go in life. And you're the average. This is real.
Yep.
You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And it's so funny, like, you can't even calculate it. It's just like gravity. It just happens. Yep. You can't map it out. It just happens to you. It's not like something like, oh, wait, I'm not becoming the average of the 5 people. You can't help it. It's just what happens. So you really got to guard and protect who you spend your time with, because you don't see it happening. It's just a phenomenon that happens. The people you hang out with, they want to go to the bar and they want to drink all night, and they don't want to get up early in the morning, and they don't want to work out, and they don't want to go to work, and they don't want to produce anything. And so they drag you down into that mud with them. Now, flip it around. You hang out with people who get up and work out in the morning. They go to whatever job or profession they have, and they go kick some ass at that job or profession, and then they get together afterwards and talk about the next business venture. Me and Kev got together last night. At what time was it we got together last night?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. The business day I've been up since 4. We met at 8 last night. About what? About the new business we're trying to launch. Come on. Get around some people who are doing some things. Get around some people who want to make something happen. Surround yourself with people who think like you, who want to act like you, who are willing to put in the effort like you, and they will pull you up. They will pull you up. It's the reason every time I get on somebody's private jet, I take a picture of myself in front of that jet. It's not because I want you to know I've been on a private jet. It ain't my jet. Trust me. Yet. It ain't my jet yet. Ooh, Marlon, there's another one. It ain't my jet. Yet. The fact is, I take those pictures because I want people to know that's who I'm trying to surround myself with. I know some people, I won't say that they're relatives, but they're relatives, who think I'm competing with them or think I'm trying to outperform them. What they don't understand is I ain't even thinking about them. I'm trying to compete with the cat with the private jet. That's the dude I want to hang with.
I'm not saying this. I don't try to compete. I just try to excel, be the best me, and everybody else. I'm happy for everybody. I just want to be happy for myself.
Exactly. Do what you do. try to raise your bar. And the fact is, don't worry about what everybody else is doing.
Because it won't do anything positive for you.
Now, I want to tell those haters, those relatives and friends that are hating, I ain't thinking about you.
I wish y'all the best of luck.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you. There's a saying I like. It goes like this: in your 20s and 30s, everybody's worried about what you think about them, and then in your 40s, they stop worrying about. They stop caring what you're thinking about them, and then in your 50s, you realize they wasn't thinking about you anyway. They were just doing what they had to do. So the fact is, stop worrying about everybody else. Get with the people who can elevate you in your game. Hang with them and go do your thing. That's what I like to say.
I can do bad by myself, okay? That's myself.
Exactly. Kevin always says, I can do bad by myself. But surround yourself with some people who can help you raise your bar, raise your game, right?
They bring new opportunities, and yeah, it's.
Are you one of those people that thinks, like I do, that this economy, the way it's kind of shifting, is going to create some opportunities?
There's always opportunities.
There you go.
Always.
There you go.
It's got to figure it out where to be.
That's right.
You got to pay attention.
Pay close attention, right?
Yeah.
Choose your lane, right?
We got to figure out, be proactive rather than reactive and everything.
And be prepared. Okay, so
And get prepared.
Get prepared. Stay prepared, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that when the opportunity shows itself, you are prepared, right? I think a lot of people are trying to find themselves out there. You got to find your lane, people. You got to decide where it is you want to run, and go for it, and go for being the best there ever was. I read this great book. Oh man, you guys should all read it. It's called "There's No Plan B to Your A Game," and it's by former pro football player. His brother was a quarterback. He was a safety. Bo Eason, brother of Tony Eason.
Okay.
Great book, because what he talks about, the emphasis of the book, is that whatever it is you decide to do, your goal should be become the best in the world, the best there ever was at that.
That's what I'm saying. You be good at just good at what you do, and you won't have a problem be able to take care of make money.
If it's always your quest to be the best, you don't have to worry about anything else.
Because people will come to quality.
People come to I like that. People come to quality. And here's the thing. You always know what the target is if your quest is to be the best. There's no quit. There's no quit, because there's always somewhere else to go.
The world's full of mediocrity.
Oh my God, mediocrity is maybe the worst disease there is, and it may be the most pervasive there is. It may be the most prevalent disease on planet Earth. Mediocrity, complacency, and drifting, as my favorite book, Outwitting the Devil, talks about.
Drifting, yeah.
Drifting.
Yeah.
It may be the worst disease ever known to mankind. If you got a mission, if you got a plan, if you got a quest, you can't beat drifting. It doesn't exist. But there's so many people that don't have a mission, don't have a plan, don't have a goal, don't have an objective, so they drift, right?
Another quote that's always underutilized is wisdom. What's the definition of a wise man? You know what you know, and truth with yourself, and then know where to go to find the answers that you don't know.
Well, there you go. What did Henry Ford always say, right? He goes, I'm not the smartest man in the room. I just surround myself with people that are smarter than me that know the answers. He goes, I might not know the answer to your question, but I bet you I know somebody who does. I bet you I can find somebody who does. So he became a mogul. He became a mega millionaire. He became the wealthiest man in the U.S. of his time by surrounding himself with people that were smarter than him at the things he didn't know.
J. Paul Getty's famous quote was, you surround yourself with the smartest people that you know, and don't micromanage.
Don't micromanage.
Let them do what they do, but have oversight.
That's kind of what I try to do. I send Marlon off to his cave to go figure out some stuff. I don't know how he comes up with these things, and I don't want to know. He just does.
Everybody's got a role.
Everybody's got a role.
And like we say, don't try to be Mike, just be Joe.
Just be Joe. Don't try to be Mike. Just be Joe. Ladies
Be
and
yourself,
gentlemen,
be true to yourself.
we have had my main man, Kevin Johnson, on the show.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure.
It has been a great honor to have you here, and you dropped some great wisdom on my people.
To be on the show again.
You will, and you will. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 2 hours. Can you believe it? It went crazy. It went fast. It's like lightning. I'm Daron C. Campbell, the hardest working man in real estate. This is the Road to a Million Show. This is roadtoamillionshow.com. Thanks for being here. I will see all of you at the top. Peace.